Beyond the fray of debate is the design of things. These are the tangibles related to 5 senses, which includes structure and function and flow. Reproducible, just like the autonomic nervous system running the heartbeat and everything else. And so coming to our senses and thinking like a twin would be actually knowing how to feel the flow of the connected universe. All of us are coming out of the closet. And what that really means is that the shift to the inside out is stepping into who and what we are. And that starts with us actually understanding the basics of how the body develops, to understand how it heals, so that you can participate. It's always inside out, top down, and from the feet up. This is how ascension works every day, works hand in hand with child development. And so if your child is sensitive to anything, it's a gift. But you can actually help them come all the way through the vertical integration process by looking at root cause, which means genetic mutations. Once you understand that, you'll understand that genetics is not a life sentence. It's not. Epigenetics is control above genes. And so it has to do with environment. And naturopathy is the original medicine because the earth is the alpha female. She's got a heartbeat. We've got 5 elements that make up the molecules that make up all shapes on this planet. And once you understand the basics of fractals, we can take our awareness of atoms and electrons and what backs those to the very next level in a way that is only known through immersive learning. And what that means is that you have to immerse in the light cycle to understand anything I'm saying. When we look at vibrational frequency, we have discovered that there are no 2 identical snowflakes. Same with the genetics. And when it comes to identical twins, we have the same fertility code. We have the same life purpose code. But what we don't have the same is the legacy. When we go to look at medical astrology, which builds the bridge between the elements and the invisible that backs them, that's what we're looking at. I mean, the 12 months, the 12 zones on the zodiac, same with the clock, they're all connected to this vertical and horizontal cross. And we're sitting in the middle of it. And so being able to understand what it's like to have your DNA entangled with someone who has a different elemental makeup, this is what is known as a mirror image twin, We're the ones that separate at the last moment. And when my twin sister and I look in a mirror, we are mirror image twins. You'll note here that, I don't know if you can see that, but one of my toes is a half size bigger. This foot, my left foot, is a half size bigger, and her right foot is a half size bigger. Now, interestingly enough, if we look at that cross, she's ambidextrous and I'm right-handed. So the mirror image twins are going to be complements. You can't compare them. And if you start to label them, it fragments them. And so we're kind of a magnified version of siblings. But we can bring awareness to you through immersive learning, which means all you have to do is get the 5 charts and put them in your kitchen. And then live in the light cycle, which means you teach your kids how to greet the day. And we've got a system to walk through that makes it not heady, not Puritan, not avoiding anything, but being able to get full from the inside out, because you know that you've got insight that adds value to your own family that no one else can see. And so my code is 55. My twin sister's is 58. And one of our 5 children has 85 code. And so when we begin to look at numbers through the fractal world, then we can apply them to the human hologram. We know the chakra centers identified in multiple countries are actually the halos for the lymphatic system. And we know that as we look at people's health constitution, they've got a glandular gift order, and the way that the vibes move through them. Since my twin sister and I both have 5 fertility code, we are designed to be in the media. 5 and 5 make 10. And so when we're focused on glass half full and focused on problem solving, we're in left spin. When we're focused on galvanizing, which means doing what we absolutely love, and that's talking about code, how the day is revealing, but we're not getting into reverse polarity, especially not now. This is the Aquarian age. It's 2022, which means we've got to have the tools in front of us, which is the next level of tools, is understanding the miasm. Understanding that from the inside out, because all it is the shadowy imprint right up the center of everyone's spine. And there aren't people that have this and people that don't have that. Right now there is this whole polarized state where there's people who are using the old New Age psyops, which is, when I say psi, I mean PSI, OPS. If you Google this, there's some kind of, game out there, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the way that we in Colorado, the natural medicine healthcare pioneers from Boulder, Colorado, this is one of the first nature healing centers in the world, Boulder, Colorado. And that's where one of our practices was located. And then we went down to the south of town in Littleton, which is where our family grew up. And then also one up to 85 so that we could be there for the Foothills community, which was also part of our home. So as we provided services for families, we started to see some of the same patterns show up over and over again. And one of them was being able to see the genetic history through resonance testing. And this is just like an MRI. It works under the same principles, but it is straight out of the roots of Western medicine, which is Germany. And they know about bioenergetic because they're focused on the design of the body, which is reproducible. So if we look at embryology, we know it starts with this shape and this shape, these two shapes right here. And these are the symbols for the intentional field that everything is created through. If you look back here, intention drives matter, right? So who a woman mates with and why she's doing it will set the rhythm and tone for the child. And so some of the children that come through the most difficult situations, who have some of the strips of code that make up the flow of who they are, they're actually shaman, and in many cases they're alchemists. And so how will you know this? Well, it's taken us 60 years, so together 120 years. And since 2017, we've barely been able to speak to one another. And the reason for this is that that cycle in 2016, go backward and think about what was going on in 2016. Go back to the pictures on your phone. For us, it was the year that we did Design of the Body podcast, and we ended up with a worldwide following, which was actually backing up all of the practitioners that we had been in contact with internationally since, well, I mean, on a one-on-one level to all of them through practitioner support, it was from 2005 into now. So now that everything is virtual and automated, we get to the root cause. And so if you look at this, it says healthy maintenance. We need to shift that to pathways full of light, which means no long-term supplementation, because if you go back to the 5th step right there, that 5th step requires shadow integration, which means that we have to be living in all these right here. So this is the ground matrix regulation system aligned with the daily light cycles. Can you sit like this? Many of you think that you're too old to actually do yoga or something like that, but here's the truth, okay? Truth is connected to 5 senses that everyone can feel. And if you take the 5 senses, they're differentiations of light, okay? And so everything that we see on this planet has a flow system, and we can look at any level in that flow system to be able to look at the root cause. So we've been in family practice for a long time, 1987. And actually, I became a babysitter right away when I was 9 years old. So it's one of those things where you know your purpose based in the things that unfold. And especially if you surrender and live your life backward every day. And the only way to do that is through code. So my twin sister, if you code out her legacy, it's 13, which is a 4. And right now the thymus gland it's not open. And so those of us that are identical twins, where one has 10 code, which is the 55, that is the alchemist that's supposed to jumpstart everything. It's why we've got the Unified Medicine Institute, but we've been integrating these shadow patterns related to consumerism, workaholism, the outside-in method. And there came a point in time in 2016 where I knew I could no longer back up diagnostics and supplements on any level until a practitioner actually walks through their own healing process. Okay? Bye.